Hey guys, my name's Jake, and I don't think 9 by 12 is going to cut it for me today. I want to go bigger, better, no more paper, let's paint on walls. I've been really dying to try mural painting recently, and I think the first step is just trying to design one. Let's give it a shot. Starting out as we always do with a quick sketch here to kind of give us a framework to work from. As usual, decided I wanted to draw some sort of animal for this and decided a fox would be pretty fun to play around with. I actually started this sketching process on my iPad just to kind of toy around with a couple little ideas. Nothing too serious, but just enough to give me an idea of the direction that I wanted to go. Once I had that, I brought it over to the computer and started sketching in what would be the final piece. I really liked this idea of how much kind of flow you could really capture with the fox. And I put together this pose that kind of reminded me of those swirling koi fish pictures. And so the idea is to have two foxes in the middle of this, kind of symmetrically placed around this swirling thing, and to use a bunch of different vines and leaves to kind of represent the swirling and the outward ripples of that koi pond look. The painting here stays pretty loose and rough. My goal with this piece wasn't to go into super realistic like I sometimes like to do. It was more to put together some more polished concept art for this mural idea. So as I work through the fox here, it is very rough and loose and quick, but still trying to capture the key details so that the final product does look pretty good. Once that first fox is done, I know that I want some symmetry, so just hit it with a little flip horizontal, flip vertical, and we're good to go. You may ask why don't I rotate it, and it's because I'm using GIMP, and rotating things in GIMP leaves them super blurry, so we're gonna do a little flip and call it good. I also thought about the possibility of making one of the foxes lighter and one of the foxes darker, kind of playing into that yin-yang idea that is pretty common with the koi fish. But in the end, I decided it was a little too on the nose, and after all, it usually is a little bit more fun to leave some things up for interpretation and let the audience figure it out for themselves. And sometimes you kind of just spoon feed it by mentioning it in a video about the art. So, you know. With the foxes done, it was time to work on the greenery, and this was going to be the majority of the piece. I started out trying to do everything all at once in one pass, and quickly found out that this was just going to take forever and probably lead to something that was pretty inconsistent on the left and right side of the piece. So I decided to go through and do all the vines first, and then come back and do all the leaves once that was done. Now, it took a couple hours to get all these vines in place, and don't even get me started on the leaves, so I don't want to make you endure all of that, but please enjoy this quick vine montage in its place.
Ah! Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
Look at all those chickens!
Oh, sorry, wrong kind of vine montage. Let's try that again. That might have taken a bit, but stepping back and looking at the whole thing, it is definitely coming together, if I do say so myself.
Wow.
Once I had all the vines in place, it was time to go through a second pass and add in on the leaves. Now, unfortunately, there aren't any entertaining social media platforms called leaves, so you're kind of on your own to just watch this one. I'll speed it up, but suffice it to say that there were a ton of these things. 195 to be exact. Does that number hold any significance? No. Did I count every one of them just so I could complain about the number that were drawn? You're darn right I did. After that, just a few more final touches to put into place, cleaning up the vines around the foxes, putting in a few shadows, and of course add in that background color. This really pulls the whole piece together, but what's a mural without a wall to put it on? I know this is just a mock-up, but we might as well do it right. And I just so happen to have this photo of a nice wall in downtown Waxhaw, the town where I went to high school, and whose downtown area is in desperate need of a little art. So let's go ahead and throw this on there and take a look at the final results of this piece. All right, that was a pretty fun one. It was really interesting to kind of think about my design process a little differently, thinking about a larger scale rather than just a small piece of paper. So definitely fun to think about composition in a different way. And this piece was a lot of fun to put together. I guess the next step in this mural design journey is to figure out how to use spray paint. That feels like it's going to be an important step. I'm sure I'll make a video about it, so stay tuned for that one, I guess. In the meantime, if you liked this video, please drop a like. If you are liking the content as a whole, please consider subscribing and ring the bell if you want to get notified as soon as future videos comes out. I'm really looking forward to trying out some new stuff in the future, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, so stay tuned for that. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.